Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Behind the Mind. This is Nadir.
And this is Yadira.
Hi Yadira.
Hi, Nadir.
What's good?
Alhamdulillah.
How you feeling?
Alhamdulillah.
Like we haven't been talking this whole time while I was setting up
Right.
this whole podcast.
Yep.
Anyway, so today we continue the journey of Yadira
Yep.
and Islam. So Yadira,
Yeah.
take it away.
Okay. So
You talk too soon.
Oh. Well, you were
Okay.
taking forever. You took this long pause for
This
no
is
reason.
the whole point.
Okay.
All right, go.
So I graduated high school at this point, and I was really questioning a lot of things. I had lost someone that I was close friends with. There was some personal things going on at home, and I was on this path of trying to discover where it was supposed to be. I had just turned down a job to teach the Sunday school classes at the church, and I was really on this the only thing I had laser focus on was trying to hone my skills on independent travel so I can acquire a guide dog. So at this point, besides that laser focus, everything else was sort of like, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? Where am I going? And there was a lot of big questions for an 18-year-old kid, really. So I had heard about this program. Well, I had not had just heard about it. That's a lie. The Commission of Blind had been trying to get me to go to this program that's geared for high school blind students who are thinking about going to college.
They've been trying to get you involved with the blind community for much, much longer than
Yes,
that.
they really
let's be
have.
real here, but
When I was really little, they wanted me to attend the camp that was for blind kids.
we're gonna have a whole episode about
Yeah,
that. That's something that needs to be
that was a
spoken
no.
about too.
Spoken
Upon.
Yeah.
Upon or about?
Okay.
What?
Spoken on.
I don't
Spoken
know.
about. It doesn't matter.
Listen, all right. Look, keep going. I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Anyway, so I just looked back at you while I was talking, so I got all distant from the mic for like a second.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, so they've been trying to get me to attend this specific program since I was entering high school, and I kept denying it because I really did not feel like I had a need for it. I had my social life, and I had a pretty active social life, and so I wasn't going to leave my friends and my cousins and things like that to go to some program. I didn't know anybody, and I had no interest in that at all. And it was going to be more of a disruption to my life not going, so I didn't want to do it. But at this point, right after high school, I just didn't even know what I wanted to do. I knew that I needed to do something. I just didn't know what it was. So I was like, you know what? I might as well go to this program. What am I going to do for the summer? I might as well go. They offer the O&M training there. I could work there every day, and I could really start gearing myself towards what I want.
Yeah, towards your goal of getting a guide.
Yeah, so I figured, you know what? I might as well go do this. But I'm only going to test it out for the first few days, see if I like it. Because if I don't like it, I'm just going to come home, and I'm not obligated to do this program. So I went, and let me see. I kind of fell asleep on the way. So then, like, the car door opened. I kind of almost like fell out the car, and my hair was a mess. And I remember my best friend had called me, and she was like, it was her birthday actually, and I had made the decision to go like at 11:30 at night the night before. So it wasn't like I had thought about it or anything. And it was like super late by the time I was done packing, so I wasn't gonna call her and be like, hey, I'm gonna go. So she was like, you left me. She was so mad at me. I was like, no, I'll make it up to you, I promise. I get inside, and there's all these people I don't know. I'm tired, and I'm already kind of in a bad mood for whatever reason. I think it was just I had too many thoughts swirling on in my head, and I was just not necessarily in a bad mood, just mentally exhausted. That's more like it. That's more accurate. So they put us in our rooms, they show us where that is, and then they're like, just, unpack and come through. We're going to come get you in about a half hour or so for like student orientation or so. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I got distracted, and I didn't make it on time because I was on the phone with my friend. And they came and they knocked on the door, and they said, you're running late. So if you want, we can go ahead and help you guide you downstairs and help you find a place to sit and whatnot. I said, sure, why not? Like, I don't think they meant, I don't think they meant that I had an option there, but I'm like, sure, why not? So I come down. They had this meeting in it's like a basement. Yeah, it was like the basement, but it was all set up like a hall or whatever of the university building. And we get down, and all the seats are kind of taken. And she was like, "Well, there's just, where do you want to sit? Like, who are your friends?" And I was like, "I don't have friends here. I don't know anybody. I don't really. You could sit me on a table, find me a table alone. That's fine by me." And she's like, "No, like, well, who do you know? And I was like, I literally just told you I don't know anybody here. I am not involved in the blind community. Like I told them, I never done anything with blind people. So I don't know anybody here. A lot of those students there knew each other for years because they had been involved in a lot of programs that had been sponsored by the Commission of the Blind.
For blind kids.
For blind kids. So almost every single person there knew someone. And they were all kind of, you could tell where the cliques were, where the friends were and whatnot. So I go and she's like, well, there's a table right here. I'm like, just give me the first table. The one closest to the door, that's where I'll sit. She's like, okay, there's 2 students
So
there.
she can make a quick escape.
Yeah.
If need be.
No, seriously. I was like, just give me the one quickest to the door. Because if I was uncomfortable, I was just going to get up and leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So she was like, okay, there's a girl and a guy there. And I'm like, fine. So she sat me down, and I don't think she was too happy with the attitude I had. I think she was expecting me to be a little bit more enthusiastic about the whole thing. But again, the place where my mind was, I just wasn't there. I had way, way too much going on in my head. So I sat down, and I remember the girl sat to my right, and she happened to sit me between both of the students that were there. And the girl sat to my right and on my left, and
I'm not saying anything. I want you to tell the story.
So,
by the way, let me actually interject in here. Me, like Yadira, I really didn't know people in the blind community like that, right? The only blind people I knew were my family. I have cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff like that are blind. Those are the only blind people I knew. I went to a blind camp once, okay? I went to a blind camp once when I was 10, 11 years old, something like that. And for some reason, we thought it was in Canada. I don't know why. No idea why.
I never knew that.
Yes, no, seriously. We thought it was in Canada. And it's like, oh, it's not in Canada, it's in New Jersey.
Wait a
Okay.
minute. Hold on,
what?
Why?
I have no idea.
Wait,
I couldn't tell you why.
Why would
I don't know why.
Why would it be in a whole other country?
I don't know why, but that's what it was. We thought it was in Canada. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
No idea why, but that's what it was. We thought it was in Canada. So, shut up.
It's the Commission of the Blind of New Jersey.
Shut up. I don't know. Okay. I don't know where the thought came from.
You didn't even leave the state. You left the country.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea how this all got worked out, but
Okay.
we realized it wasn't in Canada, right? We realized it was in New Jersey. He's still laughing at me. Yeah.
Wait. You can't just spring things like that on me. This is so bad. You say ridiculous things like that, and I'm supposed to be serious.
Yeah, exactly. You're telling a story here. You got to be serious.
Oh
all right?
my God. Ya Allah. Okay. I can't get it together.
I don't care. This is all going to stay live. We're not getting rid of any of this.
It's so bad.
This is too funny. All right,
Okay.
so.
Go ahead, Canada man. Okay.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't believe I never told you that. Anyway.
No, you never told me that. You told me you went to the camp, but you never ever said you guys thought it was in Canada.
It's pretty damn embarrassing. You know what I mean? When you think about it, pretty damn embarrassing. Anyway, so I did this camp thing. It was only like 1 week. And that's it. That was really my only interaction with the blind community.
Did you enjoy that 1 week?
No.
No.
Not really.
Not
no.
really.
It was all right because, listen, as someone, I'll talk more about my upbringing maybe on another episode.
No, I would love for you to. We've all discussed everything about myself, but you are the other half of
I'm
this.
boring, okay?
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm boring.
You are not. You're hilarious, and you're interesting, and you're the other half of a by touch.
I mean, let's be real here. Your episodes is gonna the saga of Yadira is like a 10 episode series, right? The saga of Nadir is like half an episode.
No, I'll ask you questions.
All right, so
anyway.
So I haven't been to any of these blind programs either. So I go to this thing and I don't know nobody either, right? And my thought process is, hey, a month out of my parents' house? Sweet. You know what I mean? That's
Typical teenager.
That's the way I saw it. I had a very strict
upbringing,
family structure. It really wasn't based on Islam. It was based on culture more than anything else.
See, this is why I want to discuss more with you, because you have a different perspective from being born Muslim.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it. It's going to be discussed, right? But in my head, any way for me to just get out of the house, right? So, hey, whatever, month, sweet, let's do it. And so whenever they approached us with this whole thing, whenever you ask my dad something, you can't just ask him once, right? You got to ask him once. He'll say, inshallah, which in general in my household meant no, right? But then you ask him again until you get a straight answer from him. And it's either going to be, yes or no. But, hey, alhamdulillah, I don't know what my mom did to convince him, but
it worked.
Khair. So I go and I just get into this place and, I'm talking to people. I don't care. I've never really been shy like that, at least within my teenage years. I don't mind getting to know people, saying, hey, how you doing? My name is this. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And we get to that orientation thing. I'm talking to the other girl on the table, and then Yadira pulls up next to me, and now Yadira will take it from there.
The other girl that was there was very quiet, actually, and much more reserved.
Yeah.
So I come in, and he said, I didn't say anything, because the way that I usually operate is that I am not usually the person who will initiate a conversation. I can talk forever and ever, but I will most likely not initiate a conversation. So I came in and I just sat down, ready to listen to this orientation that I was in no mood for. And so he turns around and he's like, hey, my name is Nadir. What's your name? No, he goes, hey, what's up? My name is Nadir. My friends call me Nate and I'm Palestinian. What's your name? And I just looked at him like, wow, this dude just his whole life right here, right now. Like, what is that? Like, And I've always, this isn't like me thinking like this now. I've always had that same kind of attitude. And so he's like, what's your name? And I was like, okay, so I am Yadira and I'm Puerto Rican. Like, do you want a dog biscuit? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want a dog treat? Like, you want a little biscuit? Because you're Palestinian? Like, what do you want from me?
And then what'd I say?
And he was like, no. First he was like, a dog biscuit. He was very confused. And he was like, I'm only telling you that because remember, I had said that now it's the summer. So it hasn't even been a year from 9/11 because I started my senior year with 9/11. So he met me, and because of all the discrimination he had been having to deal with the past couple months, he just assumed that I would have some preconceived notions. And so to get those cleared out of the way and to there not be, I guess, any surprises down the road, he just laid it out on the table. I'm Palestinian, I'm Muslim, and do with that what you will. I, on the other hand, in the hood and with a lot of diversity. So, and I myself, I'm Puerto Rican. So to me, it was like, who do you get off thinking I'm gonna be racist? Like, what is your problem? Like, and so that was why I gave him that snarky response. Like, I could care less what you are. Don't assume things. And so from there, that's how when him and I started our conversation and I guess our relationship, right? Because we ended up getting married. So
yeah,
but that's how it started. It was a very honest and straight to the point. Nobody was we were just like friends, and we do this orientation thing and it was pointless and we were bored and we were talking and kind of cracking jokes. And I was, then we went to dinner and then we started just talking about our different faiths. I don't even know how it came up but that became a subject that we would kind of revisit on a regular basis. And it wasn't something that was planned out. It was a very organic type of, it would just come up and I would ask questions and he would ask questions and we developed a friendship. That's where my interest in Islam started. Because prior to that, I'm sure I did know Muslims, but they weren't.
How much did you know about Islam prior to that?
Nothing. I knew Muslims. Because like I said, I grew up in the
hood.
Yeah. And so everybody, where I grew up in this bubble, which actually I have come to really appreciate because everybody there was either Puerto Rican or black. And then it was the one Portuguese kid.
The one Portuguese kid.
Yeah. Mostly, okay, I can't say everybody, but most of the people there were black or Puerto Rican. And then, there was some Dominicans, but it was all minorities.
Yeah, yeah.
And to an extent, that created this bubble where everyone else was kind of like me. And so it was very comfortable to be around, I guess, what people call now like diversity and all that stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was odd to, even as an adult.
This COVID cough, bro.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, you're all better though.
Sucks. Alhamdulillah, but
it lingers.
Damn COVID cough is just, and thing is, we recorded the other episodes, nothing.
And today's kind of been acting up for you.
This has been, anyway, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I didn't really know anything about Islam. I did know other Muslims, but I don't know if they were practicing or not or whatever, but we were kids and it wasn't something that was discussed, Mm-hmm. And then when I went to high school, I really didn't know that many Muslims. There was a different type of diversity there and there was a lot more I didn't, there was a lot more Latinos where I moved to. And then there was, I'm going to be really honest. I had never been around so many white people in my life because where I grew up, that just wasn't.
Same thing with me.
Yeah, the thing.
Whenever I moved to Clifton.
Yeah. And so that was kind of my first experience with being exposed to a lot of people who just weren't Black or Latino. There was a lot of people like Asian, and it was where I went to high school with huge diversity, and that was great. And that was absolutely great. When you first go there, it's different. But again, not too much emphasis on Islam. There wasn't really anybody that I knew that was really practicing or like that I knew personally in my clique, like hijabi or anything like that. So I didn't really have any knowledge on it. So when I meet this young guy here and I'm on this path that's full of questions and, a lot of turmoil has happened, and he's telling me these things about this belief in this one God, and I'm going to get to all that because that's a little bit more. I've discussed all the school stuff. And the reason I focus so heavily on school is because when you're disabled, your experiences in the school system shape a lot of who you are, because you really do learn how to stand up for yourself. Either you learn how to stand up for yourself and you become a fighter, or it crushes you and you're not going to make it. So I chose to tell my story in this way. I've never told it in that way for a reason, because I'm usually kind of going back and forth and there's a time constraint. But I chose to focus so heavily on the track of school first, because I wanted the audience to be able to see what it's like for someone who's blind in a public school system, when their, support can be hit or miss. A lot of times you don't get the support you need, where students, how they treat you can play a huge role. Like I ended up really getting physically sick, at one point. So all of these things help to shape you and how you view everything, from social to cultural to religious aspects. So there was a lot going on, and I'm talking to this guy who seems to have who has a very different belief than I do, And I remember one of the first questions I asked him was like, "What's the deal with baptism in Islam?" He was like, "What is that? Like, what do you mean by that?" So I explained to him what it was, and he was like, "Oh, that's not a thing." And I remember that it was huge for me because, again, I was much younger, and I always had a problem with baptism. I remember my 10-year-old, when I was like 10, my little cousin was getting baptized. He was tiny. We're talking months old, could barely hold his head up, And I remember thinking, why is he getting baptized? And they were like, "Well, you have to get rid of his original sin." I'm like, "What sin? But he's a baby." I don't understand this. What do you mean he has sin? And so if he dies, is he going to go to hell? Like I remember being this 10-year-old kid and being very panicky. Like, oh my God.
Don't drop him.
Right. Like this baby's going to go to hell. At best, he's going to go to purgatory and he's just going to be in limbo for the rest of his soul life.
Don't drop him until you put that oil on his head or something.
Right. I was terrified. That water,
oil, whatever. I don't know how it works.
And so they, I remember that being a really big issue for me. And I'm like, oh my God, but this is an innocent child. I can't. And so when I asked, would he go to hell, I got yelled at, you need to just have faith and you're being disrespectful. Stop questioning.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, but I'm not asking to be
disrespectful
or difficult.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately concerned for this child's soul, So when Yadira tells me there's no such thing as baptism, when you are born, you're a clean slate, a clean soul, you're a baby. That immediately was something that caught my attention. And then the next question that I had asked him was about confession. And that was always an issue for me too, because as a Catholic, you have to, one of the first sacraments you do, well, the next one after your baptism is confession. And you're talking about anywhere between 7 to 9 years old, you have to go sit in a booth and you have to tell the priest every single thing you could have possibly done that's considered sinful. So yes, for someone who's 7 or 8, like what could you possibly have? There's an issue already with that. But imagine
what sins do you have as a 7 or 8 year old?
Right. But let's start fast forwarding
or something.
Right.
Or?
Let's fast forward to, I don't know, puberty years, teenage years, adulthood, when you are really starting to accrue actual sins and things that you really might be ashamed of, that you don't want people to know, anyone to know. And no one, quite frankly, has the right to know them. And I remember that even as a little kid, the first confession that I did, I was so uncomfortable and I didn't want to do it. So I'm being taught what to say, and then I just lied and I made up a bunch of fake sins.
Like what?
Like there were always the generic ones that I always used. Like I lied.
I ate a cookie I wasn't supposed to.
Like I took something I wasn't supposed to, like cookies or something. I talked back to my parents.
I robbed the bank.
No.
As a 9-year-old,
Right. And you want to honestly,
sin.
I just started kind of saying things, whether I did them or not. And that's kind of what my entire time that I confessed from then till, I no longer partook in that practice,
Yeah.
that's literally what I did. I was never honest about any of that. That was so violating to me.
You would just lie.
I would either lie or give really vague sins like that. I gave an attitude. I lied. I
stole a cookie.
I was impatient. I knew how to age them correctly as I was getting older.
Of course. I looked at a guy
or something.
I mean, you're
right.
blind. I don't know how that works.
No, but like I wouldn't even go as far as that because like my thoughts are mine, and was really I would every single time was the same. I just kind of rattled off the same lines, and none of it was.
And the thing is, he hears so much, it's not like he's keeping track.
Right,
Let's be real here.
It's true, and then it's just like, okay, well, go say this and go this, and I
Hail Marys, Hail Fathers, Our Fathers, and peace out,
and like
right?
acts of contrition or whatever, and then he would say that in the name of God, he's absolved you or whatever. I never ever was sincere, not once, because I felt so utterly violated. Like I just could not bring myself. You're a man. Yeah. You're a human being just like me. What gives you this authority to say whether you do, I am or am not absolved? You're not God. You're nowhere near God. You're just as, quite frankly, sinful as everyone else. So who are you to tell me that I have to share everything that I've done, anything I might be ashamed of, so you can spew out a few words? And I'd never sat well with me. So those were sort of the big initial questions. And that was my first real interest in Islam. And that was the first time that I really had started to learn a little bit about Islam. So real quick though, Nadir.
Yeah.
This is going to be about you a little bit. So how was it for you having someone not know about Islam and then ask you questions about it? It was like almost this informal dawah, right? So how was that for you?
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, and if we want to have a Nadir focused episode,
I do.
We're going to go more in depth in this, but I really wasn't religious like that.
Got it.
Like I knew barely anything as far as deen is concerned. Like I was not on my deen when I was 17 years old.
So was it awkward for you? Was it something you were comfortable with? Was it something that
I always liked the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would always watch videos and I was always interested in learning, but the learning limitation that I had was so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was, my learning was so limited. I had such limited knowledge. So it really wasn't awkward. I just liked the conversation. And to be honest, I was like, hey, I get to talk to a cute girl. To be perfectly honest with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Allah knows his creation.
Yeah.
Right? He knows who he created. He knows what we're attracted to. So,
well, I mean, obviously.
Whatever.
Right? Like, obviously, it was
good
mutual.
conversation.
Here we are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Least,
obviously, we're attracted to each other.
Yeah, it was mutual.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. But yeah, that was my first real interest in Islam. And then being so confused. And so I was just like, wow, like this is something that speaks to me. I found that it wasn't just interesting for the sake of gaining knowledge. It was something that reached deeper, almost like a pull. The more I learned about Islam, the more I wanted to learn and the more I wanted to go towards that. I remember asking about crucifixion. I remember I had tons and tons and tons of questions for you. And the more and more you would answer, it was like it was not enough. It was like, now I got these new questions. And it was something that I really looked forward to expanding on,
Yeah.
And
because it's a total different narrative than what you've heard of on almost everything.
And and it was this big thing where it was like you're not automatically just guilty about everything. And to me, to be able, when you told me that confession, that's not a thing, and that you could speak directly, that the way you do it is you just speak directly to God. I was just floored with that one, honestly. And I know it sounds maybe a little cliche or whatever, but remember,
truth is the truth.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, so the only way to do that was through confession.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my God, I committed this sin today, but I got to wait till next, meeting when the priest is available. And if he's not available next Friday.
If I die, I'm screwed, right?
Like, oh my God, it's Tuesday. He's not available till, Friday at 7. What am I going to do between Tuesday and Friday? Like those are.
Were these legitimate concerns for you though?
I hated confession. And so in the back of my head, I felt very guilty.
Because you hated it.
Yes. I felt so guilt-ridden.
And you thought like, this is what God wanted you to do.
Yes. And so not wanting to do it and not...
So hold on. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
You never questioned any of this?
Confession?
Confession.
I confess the baptism, I questioned.
Yeah. But no. Not just asked, but like legitimately asked yourself, like, is this really from God?
No,
That's what I mean.
I never really, it was taught to me that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
And because I have always felt a deep yearning and connection, like yearning for God and connection to God. So,
and this was the only way you knew how to get access to it.
Exactly. It was the
Gotcha.
only way that I was taught, so I didn't question it. And so not wanting to partake in the sacraments that I had been taught, it was something that almost would break me. Like I felt so guilty because I would hear people talk about how they felt when they came out of confession. And I just never, I was just relieved I was out. Like, oh God, I don't have to do that till like next month.
Yeah.
And, but at the same token, I would feel horrible about it. Cause like, you're supposed to want to do this. You're supposed to want to be part of these things and you don't. So there's something very wrong with you. You're truly the one in the wrong here, and there's something wrong with you. And so that's kind of how it would just stay, but all the times and all the difficulties that I was facing, all the times that I had hardship, I would literally just pray to God. I wasn't very good at being very Catholic. Like I didn't pray to the saints. I didn't ask saints for help. I didn't ask Mary for help. I wasn't very good at that because to me, it was always like, God help me. God help me. Like that was always my
default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're taught that the only way to access God is through these sacraments and through these rituals and these mannerisms, these customs that you have to practice, these ceremonies, you feel guilty when you don't want to be part of that because it's like, well, am I denying the access to God, even though I say that I want God? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very tumultuous, to say the least. And so when I get to this crossroad where I'm just like, after asking all these questions, and I'm now we're moving forward, and I quite had not come to the decision that I wanted to embrace Islam, but now I've mentally come to this point where I'm thinking, I don't want to be Catholic. I know that.
When did that come up? So we're done with Drew?
Yeah.
Let's move past Drew.
We're moved on to
now,
Drew.
How do we continue our relationship?
We are still friends. I started this training center, which I had mentioned in the Guide Dog episode, to hone my skills. And then I befriended your family and I started teaching you Braille, which I don't know. You gotta get better at that again.
Yeah, shut up. I can read grade 1.
I did my job, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I started teaching you Braille because I felt like
I can survive.
I felt like everybody needs to learn.
I got like a kindergarten's grasp on Braille.
To Braille the books for Islam by touch, right? All you need to know is the basic.
I just need to know the numbers.
The numbers.
That's it.
And so
to make sure the pages are going to the right place. We got the master copies.
That's fine.
You proofread them all already.
Yeah, I did. Alhamdulillah.
So khair.
So but I felt like you should learn, and everybody should learn this skill, and it was also another chance to ask you more questions, and you did live in a really, really strict home, so being able to access the only Muslim that I knew that could answer questions wasn't something that I could just call me like, hey, can I, you know what I mean?
Till I got a cell phone.
Right, till you got a cell phone. And then it was like, and I don't know, I think all that teaching you and being around you and being around your family and stuff, I think that eventually those feelings really did start to grow between us, but nothing was really done, because that's just not what you do, and it was way too much at stake to do something stupid. So I became friends with his family, and I would go and eat dinner with them, and I would go there, I would go teach, and then I would stay like all day, and I would eat with them, and they became like, well, now they are family because I married their son, but
pretty much we're like a second family.
Yeah, they were like my second family, and they were really kind, and I liked it, And then at some point, I would say, I don't know, I met you in July, and I think, I don't know, sometime in the winter. I can't pinpoint it. Like it was January 13th. Like,
yeah, no. I'm saying, yeah, the general time.
But at some point, a few months down the road, I would say around that winterish time, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want to be Catholic. And I don't know if it's Islam that I want to be part of and that I want to follow and embrace. But Catholic is not it. I can't do the Catholic. I can't even do Christianity, quite frankly. Yeah. Because there's too many things that the crucifixion was a huge thing. When you told me all about this, you just came and poked so many holes for me in my,
I totally ruined the narrative.
You did.
I totally ruined the narrative.
And then I'm a person that by nature, like I like to think.
And I wasn't even good at it.
Right, but I
wasn't even on my deen like that.
SubhanAllah, Nadid, and that's the proof that Allah guides whom He wills.
Yeah, because He even through my ways of living down, it still works.
I was meant to be there. I was meant to be at some point Muslim, to come back to that and embrace it and recognize it. And I don't know, something about me, when I met you, I always say, I felt like I already knew you from somewhere. Wallahi, like there was this instant familiarity to you.
Yeah. And
it was something I could not explain, but it was not like your typical, like, how a girl and a guy will get attracted and it's like, oh my God, and you kind of swoon. It was like, hey, there's my old buddy. You know what I mean? It literally felt like I had known you from somewhere. And like my soul was so happy to like find its friend, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so ever since I met you, we've always joked and laughed, and everything's always gone a real natural progression. You know what I mean?
I mean, we've gone to war too,
but it's all natural, is what I'm saying. Like there's
natural
never
war.
Yeah, man. Like I get you mad, you get me mad, and let's go. Let's do this. But once all that's resolved, it's like, wait a minute, this is now at this point in our life, it's like, this is the one I love. Alhamdulillah. But what I'm saying is that there was never this awkward like discomfort.
Yeah. Of course.
Alhamdulillah. So I remember thinking, I'm like, my family's gonna kill me. Mom is gonna kill me. So now we get to like spring, because I remember at this point, I think was the end of one of my college semesters. Maybe I think it was the end of my first college semester, because I took a semester off in order to do the training program. And I remember it might have been around the time that I, how I discussed the whole Andrea thing.
Yeah.
And the guide dog thing, and Petunia, that was the name of the first dog, that didn't work. And it might have been around there when I was like, no, it was before, because for Petunia, I was Muslim. So it was a year before that. But I remember thinking, I was like, Mom's going to kill me. But I can't do this. I cannot pretend to believe in something when I don't. And I've never been able to lie. Like I'm not a good liar like that. You know what I mean? If I feel something, I'm going to let you know.
Even if she don't let you know, like you'll know.
You'll know. You'll know. It's my body language and my mannerisms, the tone of voice I use, or I'll just straight out tell you. I'm not very good at lying. So
yeah.
I said, and anyways, anytime
what's wrong?
Nothing. And it's like, everything's wrong.
Exactly.
Wait.
The world's about to fall apart.
It's like, wait a minute, what is it when a woman says nothing's wrong, something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
When she says something.
No. Whenever a woman says nothing's wrong, then something's wrong. Whenever she says something's wrong, then everything is wrong.
Yeah.
And what was the last part?
I can't remember.
Can't remember the last
Oh, wait. And if she says you better not laugh or something.
And if she says you better not laugh,
something's not funny. Listen, she says something's not funny.
Then you better not laugh your A off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. She says something's not funny. You better. Simpsons. See, look, we got the quote.
We got the quote, and let's go. Every episode, I'm gonna try. You did it this time. 10 points, wife.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking, I'm like, Mom's gonna kill me, because anything I wanted to do. I never was this kid who would sneak around. Like, Mom, this is what I want to do, and I'm just letting you know. And I was a good kid. I got all the good grades, and I wasn't out misbehaving or anything like that. I was just have always been very strong-willed and strong-headed, and that doesn't always work in my favor, but it's just the way I am. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell Mom. And it's like, part of me is like, you probably shouldn't do that. She's gonna get really mad. I'm like, no. I'm having this conversation, by the way, as I'm getting ready to go to school. Yeah. And her and I used to walk to the bus stop together. And I would take the bus to school, and she would go to work.
Now, wait. Is this before or after you told me?
Oh, this is before.
Before you told me? You told her?
I didn't tell her I wanted to convert, okay?
Oh.
I just said, I don't want to be Catholic no more.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I don't even think I remember this conversation.
So, we're walking.
I don't even think you told me this.
We're walking towards...
It's a Canada story.
It's a Canada Canada. Like, I don't know why I find it so funny.
Bro, we are so ridiculous. Like, this is how you know. This is how you know, bro. So I don't even know where this idea came from. But go.
Oh, God. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell her when we're like halfway to the bus stop, because Mom doesn't like to ever make scenes. So she can't kill me because we're in public.
Yeah, I get it. That's smart.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm going to tell her. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how it came up, and she was like, I don't even know how I led to it or whatever. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I said, Mom, I think she had asked me something about, when are you going back to church or something like that. I said, I'm not doing that. And it was like the perfect segue or something. Yeah. But I think I had angled it into it, her asking me
something about church.
Yeah,
or something.
I can't remember how I did it, but I had played it out so that I would lead her right to where I wanted her to go. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, when are you going back to church? I said, I'm not doing that because I'm not Catholic anymore. Quietly. She wanted to murder me. She was like, then what are you? And she was like, she already had some issues because, she didn't really like the fact that I knew you.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what I am, but I know I'm not Catholic. And I don't believe in any of that. And I don't believe Jesus died for us. And that was it.
Oh my God, you just threw it all at her.
I sure did. Like, Ned, come on. It's me. You know, I'm all or nothing.
Yep.
So...
That is the Yadira life
and
right
so,
there.
tú te vas a quemar en el infierno. So you're going to burn in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's fine, but I still don't believe in what you want me to.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, that's fine. Eso está bien. Like, that's fine. I said, yeah, that's fine. Whatever happens is going to happen. But I just don't, what do you want me to do? I don't believe in it. I can't change that. I can't change that I don't believe in it. And I don't know what I'm going to do. But I do know that I'm not Catholic. So I don't know. And so we got to the bus stop and she didn't talk to me for a few days because she was really, really angry at me. And I think she was also angry at the way I calculated it. Mm-hmm. That she couldn't just
so she couldn't freak out in front of all the people?
Right. And like, you know.
Throw stuff at you?
Whoop my behind.
Uh-huh.
So, and then at the same, I think she came around, and I figured I was going to get, you know, my behind whooped. But it didn't happen because I think at some point she figured, oh, it's just a phase or something. And so that happened, and I continued asking questions. This was around April, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It was right around the end of June, I remember.
I think it was my birthday.
Yeah, I think it was your birthday. And I hadn't really given it much thought that day, but I was like, you know what? I want to be a Muslim. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I sat there like, okay, let me reflect.
It's not like you had a
list of pros and cons.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was just hanging out in my room and cleaning, and I was like, you know what am I like? I don't believe in anything that I grew up with, and what makes sense to me is Islam. So I'm gonna be a Muslim. That's what I want to do. That's my decision.
That's it.
That was it.
It was not like a life altering thing for you.
And I just sprayed the mirror with Windex and kept cleaning. And I was like, oh, you know what, I should tell Ned that that's probably something he would want to know. Mm-hmm. So then I called you, and this
is the time I had a cell phone.
Right.
I had a cell phone
at this point, yeah.
Yes.
So I called you, and I was like, "Hey,
Nextel phone." I
remember the Nextel?
It was a
the little chirps.
Yes. Yes. Okay, good.
So I called you, and I was like, "Hey, are you busy?" And you were like, "Not really. I think your cousin was there or something, or I don't know." And I was like, "Cool, I got something to tell you." And you're like, "What?" I was like, "I want to become Muslim." And I remember you said, "What?" You said, wait. Hold on a minute. What?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, I want to become Muslim. So I don't know how to do this. I don't know, and you got to remember, I'm coming from a Catholic background where everything is a ceremony. Mm-hmm. You get baptized, ceremony. First communion, ceremony. Confirmation, ceremony. Like,
mm-hmm.
everything is something. So I was like, I don't know how to do this. And from that point, I just kind of kept learning about it.
Well, you know what? We're pretty much at the end of our time.
Yeah.
So
we could just end it here.
So we'll end it here. We'll end it to you coming to the realization that Islam was the way for you.
Yeah.
And we will pick it up next. I mean, this is you coming to Islam, but you still have not taken your Shahada.
Right.
You still are learning.
Right. Actually, I'm not even going to get to the Shahada. I'm going to go ahead and backtrack and give you a little bit more of my personal from the home side and the religion side.
Gotcha. You want to start that on the next one?
Yeah, we're going to kind of circle back. And so I'm going to end up at, both tracks are going to meet at, at that point where I took my Shahada. I think,
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So we're going to leave it here, guys. Make sure you like and share and subscribe to this podcast. And, just tell everybody about it. Let everybody know. Let your mama know. Let your grandmama know. Okay? Let everybody know. Like, yo, there's some blind people. They're talking some truth, I guess.
Inshallah. I don't know. We're just sharing our story.
Make sure you follow Islam by Touch on all of the socials.
Check out islambytouch.com.
Go to islambytouch.com.
Donate. Help the cause for the
help us make Islam accessible to the blind community.
Yep.
And Yadira, if they want to follow you, where do they go?
You can find me at Always Yadira on all the socials.
At Always Yadira. And I don't know if we're going to do Behind the Blind social media stuff because I suck at Islam by Touch social media stuff.
Social media is a lot to handle. And so
it's not very blind friendly.
It's not very blind friendly, and it's a lot to do when you already have an organization and 4 kids and you homeschool and you're doing a bunch of different projects. Mm-hmm. So let's just keep it Islam by Touch. Islam by Touch at Always Yadira, and you can find us there.
Yep, you could find us there, and you can always send us an email at islambytouch@gmail.com.
Yeah, we're always checking them, so either one of us is going to respond to you. It's definitely going to be either one of us. We don't really have we are the team.
Yes, we are the team. So we're going to leave it here. Make sure you join us next time where we continue Yadira's journey and we take you behind the blind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. dun dun.